Joining me now is Vince Everett Ellison, author of the new book, 25 Lies, and Amala Ekpunobi, PragerU personality. Vince, how insulting is this whole racket to you personally?
Well, Laura, your monologue was straight up. I mean, it was right on the money. The declarative statement in my new book, 25 Lies, I started by saying, since its inception in 1800, because of slavery, the Confederacy, and Jim Crow, the Democratic Party has been the evilest institution on the face of this earth. And this is why. It's because they lie. They say that racism is the cause of all of our problems. That is a lie. People that believe in white supremacy must also believe in black inferiority. You can't have both of them. And as a black man, I can tell you I don't believe in white supremacy, because as an heir of Jesus Christ and a son of God, I have never met anyone superior to me. I have brothers and sisters. They all have talents, and that's all I meet are good people with talents given to them by God that we have to elevate. And if we elevate each other's talents, we all elevate each other. All of society becomes elevated. But the Democrats want hatred. They want envy. They want strife. They live on it. They've always had it, from slavery, Civil War, Jim Crow, now socialism. They want us to hate one another, and they live off of the hate. And this is why I call them an evil institution. You know, my book talks about 25 lies that they give. They talk about their evil. It talks about what they do wrong. It talks about how they drive all of us against one another. And this is just another example. This is racial propaganda.
All right, Amala, I want to go back to this Showtime fiasco. I think it's racist, this so-called docu-series. Here's one of what they call one of their comedians heavily featured.
Whiteness is a construct created only to oppress, and they use the privilege that comes out of that construct to give access for other people who don't have that privilege. If your black friends aren't talking to you about how white people are, it's probably because you are a white person, not a person who happens to be white, and they are also not really your black friends. So remember that.
Amala, some of these folks are incredibly privileged. They make an enormous amount of money for spouting illogical nonsense. And they travel the country selling these, racial hectoring and all these kinds of ideas that obviously aren't helping a single person get a better job or a better opportunity. So how do you reason with someone like that as a young person?
It's very difficult. We're in a day and age now where oppression is currency, and you can get a large amount of fame and support for spouting these lies and this propaganda. I did so for quite some time, and it's just ridiculous. As far as reasoning, I say look at the results of the policies that they advocate for, of the campaigns that they're running, defunding the police, decriminalizing shoplifting, allowing drug abuse in our streets. Specifically here in California, progressive policy has been the bane of the existence of lower income people in the communities of color in this state. So you have to look at the results here. I'm hearing a whole lot of talk about racism, and what that does is it takes away from the true hearts of these issues, like class, like two-parent households, like resources, like education. And when we sit and look at these issues and look at the disparate impact on people of color and scream nothing but racism, we take away from the actual solutions at hand and actually addressing these problems. It's truly disgusting to watch this Showtime special.
Well, they want to switch the topic because they're failing minority communities every single day in this country, and they know it. And I think they know that more minority voters are seeing the light on this as well, and I think they're freaking out. Vince, over at MSNBC today, a Fordham University professor proposed something as a topic for a family meeting. Watch.
You need to sit your family members down and explain to them the threat that the Republican Party faces to American democracy. Walk them through the white nationalist road we are on with this particular party. They're more than willing to take this entire country off of a financial cliff, an environmental cliff, a civil rights cliff, you name it.
Vince, apparently nothing's changed in the United States since the segregationist South and maybe since the early days of the Civil War.
The Democrat Party has been in charge of the black community for 220 years. I was born on a cotton plantation in Hayward County, Tennessee. My father was a sharecropper. He brought us out of poverty, and after college, I started working in a prison. I know the Democrat Party very, very well. They run every crack house, every prostitute house, every failing school, Every big city mayor, every big city police chief, every judge and jury that locks up black men is run by the Democrat Party. If you don't believe me, go to any ghetto in America and walk around it. See if you see any white Republicans anywhere. You're going to run into black Democrats all over the place, and you're going to run into most black preachers, most black politicians, and most black civic organizers, and they're the ones that are doing the conduit. They are the conduits for the Democrat Party. This is them. This is the Democrat Party. And all they do is foment hate. That's what they do, and they live off of it. But black people aren't crazy. They understand that in our Bible, when Cain was angry because God had rejected his offering, he said, if you do well, will you not be accepted? And if not, sin waits at the door to master you, but you must master it. The Democrats are not after the fallen. They already fallen.
Yeah.
And they don't know this, but they are already defeated.
Amala, the left is racializing everyday activities. I mean, everything is racist. It seems like it sometimes. Even picking an emoji, according to NPR, Jennifer Epperson from Houston identifies as black and said she changed her approach depending on who she was talking to. I use the default emoji, the yellow-toned one, for professional settings. Then I use the dark brown emoji for friends and family. I just don't have the emotional capacity to unpack race relations in the professional setting. Amala, you think of the Underground Railroad, and you think of Rosa Parks, and now we're at emojis.
Right.
Wow.
It's completely ridiculous. And when you view the world through the lens of racism, you will find it everywhere. It's how I used to view the world, and every cross look and every color emoji had racism in it. And that's how they operate. And we really have to deviate from that, because it's a disservice to everybody who learns this sort of ideology. There are young children now being taught in school that their race matters more than who they are as an individual, what their interests are, what their dislikes are, their merit, their character. And if we continue on this route, we're going to have a generation that is completely crippled by this narrative. Who cares what color your emojis are? And you should question anybody who looks at you and tries to convince you of your own victimhood. And you should ask, what do they get from me being convinced of this? And when you've answered that question, you'll find that you should not be on their side.
Yeah, how much do they make from selling victimhood and racializing everything around us? Vince, Amala, wonderful to see both of you tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.